Hey class, Absolute 5 here, and today we're going to talk about solving equations. So solving equations, it's an art, but at the same time, it takes practice. If the more problems you practice, the more you'll be able to do consistently. So what do we need to review? We need to review some basic properties real quick. We need to talk about the addition property of equality, and also we also need to talk about the multiplication property of equality. So let's do addition first. Just do addition first. What this says is if I have an equal sign where, just to let you know, we'll make this side addition and we'll make this side represent subtraction. So what the equal sign says is if I add something on one side of the equation, I must do it to the other side because that's where true equality exists. So therefore, and these letters, they just mean any number. They could be anything you want them to be. I don't care. It could be anything you want them to be. Let's say I add a letter C on the left side, but I don't add something to the right side. Is that equal? No, it's not. So therefore, if I add a C on one side, I have to do it to the other. Same goes for subtraction. If I subtract a C on one side, I have to subtract a C on the other side. So if I subtract a C on the A, I have to subtract a C on the B. That makes sense. Now, as I was saying, there's also the multiplication, the multiplication property of equality, which also incorporates division, by the way. Let me just add a few pages real quick. Okay, go all the way back up. Okay. So basically what this is saying is this is multiplication and this is division, right? So, right. So if I multiply a number C and I multiply it on A, I have to multiply it on on B as well. Same goes for division. If I divide C on one side, I have to divide C on the other. Why am I talking about these properties? These properties are necessary to solve for equations because you're going to be moving variables over, numbers over, and then when you finally get x by itself, you get to divide by the coefficient in the end. Or if you have to multiply depending on the situation. So let's start off with a nice basic example. Y minus 5 equals negative 2 minus 6. Okay? So the first step is you want to combine like terms if possible, if there is any. In this case, I see numbers on the right side that can combine. So then I have y minus 5 equals, so negative 2 minus 6. So I owe $2 and I owe $6 more. I owe $8. Now we have the situation of the first term. You see we have a subtraction on one side. So now I have to, for me to get the y by itself, I have to add a 5 on both sides and then I get y. Well, let's see what happens. What happens to the 5? The 5, they cancel out because if I owe $5 and I pay the $5, I have nothing left to pay. So therefore it's y, that's why it's by itself. Now here you have to subtract, well, remember the rule, when the signs are different, you keep the sign of the bigger number and then you subtract. 8 minus 5 is 3. Now some people might say that's a little bit confusing, so let's try another way. Y minus 5 equals negative 2, negative 6, right? So let's skip that first step and we know that we're gonna get negative 8 on the right side. What you can do is when you add 5, you could also add it to the side. Y equals negative 8 plus 5. You know you get to combine these two, so you still get y equals negative 3 as your answer anyway. So let's go down. Let's try another problem. Let's say I say solve 3y minus 7y equals 12. Now, Many of you might just say, I can't do this because 7 can't divide into 12. My thing is this, you have to make sure you combine like terms first. So we have 3y minus 7y, which gives me negative 4y, which gives me 12 as my answer. Now you could divide 4 into 12 because negative 4 divides into negative 4, which I'm using the division property here for the multiplication property of equality. So therefore, so now here's what happens with the negative 4's. Negative 4 divided by negative 4 would be positive 1. Now here's the thing, if some of you might just say, hey, can I just divide by 4? No, because then you're left with a negative sign in front of the y, which you still have to divide the negative sign for it to be positive. Your answer cannot be negative. For a variable, it cannot be negative. So now we have positive number divided by a negative number, and I'm left with a negative answer. Now I divide 4 into 12, 3. That's my answer. Let's do another one. Let's say I get z over negative 4 equals 11 minus 5. So the first thing you're going to do is combine like terms first. So then I put a little arrow, z over negative 4 equals 6. How do I get 6? 11 minus 5 is 6. Now move this up. For the other property, the multiplication property, we're going to multiply both sides by, can you guess? Negative 4. Because if I multiply both sides by negative 4, what do I get? The negative 4's, they cancel out, and I'm left with z equals negative 24 as my answer. So as you can see, each of these properties are being used each time you're solving an equation. There is no right or wrong way to do something. It's the fact that it's an art in the sense that you got to be more consistent. You have to practice as much as possible to recognize each step. So let's do one where, let's do this one. And I'll give you one problem for homework. 5x plus 2 minus 4x equals 7 minus 19. Okay, so let's review. First step you want to do is combine like terms. Okay, so what am I combining? I'm combining the numbers here, and I'm also combining the x's as well. So let me reorder this as 5x minus 4x plus 2. And I'll combine 7 minus 19 gives me negative 12 as my answer. I'm going to combine these two now. I'm left with x plus 2 equals negative 12. So therefore, I'm going to subtract 2 on both sides. And now I'm left with x equals... Remember, the signs are the same. You keep the sign and you add the numbers. And I'm left with negative 14 as my answer. So for homework, here you are. Homework says something easy. 8x minus 9x equals 12 minus 17. Hint, if you have a negative in front of the variable, you need to divide by negative 1 to get rid of the sign, okay? So that's the lesson for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave me feedback down in the comments down below. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you guys next time with another video. This has been Absolute 5. I'm Roger Palomino. Math is infinite because there are infinitely many possibilities. And don't forget, don't hate, calculate.